The information provided in this episode is for informational purposes and does not intend to diagnose or replace therapy.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Living Your Best Life with Danya the Coach.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you had a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining me today. So this is going to be part 5 of the Power of You experience. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's going to make you feel really uncomfortable. I know, I'm good for that, right? But it's where real transformation is going to happen. It's radical responsibility. Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself blaming someone else for how your life is going, how you're feeling, how things are doing for you overall? Maybe you thought if they just acted a certain way, or maybe if I didn't have all these responsibilities, because they don't have all these responsibilities, but that's not necessarily the case. We've all been there. We've all had the thoughts, don't get me wrong, but is that the best way to think? Right? So today I want you to imagine what life would be like if you stopped pointing fingers at everybody else and started pointing thumbs at yourself. So this is not about blame. It's more about ownership. Because here's the truth, my friends. You cannot control what other people do. You just can't. It's humanly, physically impossible. But you absolutely control how you respond. Right? You can control what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you decide to change. So let me break it down for you. Number 1, you gotta own your choices, your calendar, your boundary, your yes and your no. When you say yes to things that drain you, you're choosing to be drained. You're choosing that negative energy, right? When you stay in a silent relationship that no longer serves you, you're choosing to endure this torture, this pain, this turmoil, whatever word you want to insert here. That's your choice. You're actively choosing it. Ask yourself, what have I been choosing by default that I now want to choose on purpose? Right? Think about that question for a little bit. I'm going to ask it again. What have I been choosing by default that I now want to choose on purpose? All right. Number 2, own your energy. Who drains you? Who fuels you? What habits lift you up and what habits keep you stuck? Think about that. Do you get up, work out, go to the gym, meditate, have a good breakfast, have your you time, have self-care? Or do you binge eat? Do you sit on the couch? Do you not do nothing? Are you stagnant? Right? These are all choices that we're making. So you don't have to be there for everyone else, but you definitely have to show up for yourself. Right? So when we talk about owning energy, think about every time you feel that need to be somebody's cheerleader, right? Say yes to go to an event that you really don't want to go to. Say yes to go to a party that you really don't have interest in going to. Maybe you're just exhausted and you just don't want to go anywhere. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. You don't have to be everybody's cheerleader. You don't have to show up to every event. You don't have to say yes every time somebody asks you for a favor. You don't have to hold space for every toxic conversation. It's okay to say, I can't engage in this conversation right now. So I want you to repeat something after me. It's another little affirmation, right? Protecting my peace is a form of power. Say it again. Protecting my peace is a form of power. So number 3, my friends, own your healing. Yes, someone hurt you. Absolutely. No doubt about that. Yes, life has knocked you down. Yup, sure has. But staying in victim mode is like trying to drive your car straight while staring at a rearview mirror. Right? Your healing is your responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility. Not because you caused the pain, let me be clear, but because you deserve to be free from the pain. That's why it's your responsibility. Number 4, my friends, own your outcomes. Let me take you behind the curtain for a moment and share a real life lesson. There was a point in my career where I felt stuck. I was aiming for a promotion. I believed I deserved it. I was there a long time. I had the experience. I had put in the time. I see other people have a similar job who don't know what the hell they're doing. I was frustrated. And honestly, I was bitter. I was salty about it, right? I kept thinking, why am I not being selected for these roles I'm applying for? Don't they see my value? Right? But then I had to pause and self-reflect. I had to take a moment and take a step back. And I asked myself really hard self-reflection questions. How am I showing up? Right? Am I showing up the way I authentically want to show up? Am I showing up as myself? Am I showing up as the person that they want to be hiring? Am I showing up as someone who's confident they can do the job? Right? What could I do differently? There has to be something I could do differently. Eventually I got promoted. I did something differently. Right? What's the experience people have with me? And most importantly, what are people saying about me when I'm not in the room? So that was a wake-up call for me. I realized I wasn't even owning my own brand. I was expecting my work to speak for itself. but I wasn't being intentional about how I was positioning myself, how I was presenting myself, how I was selling myself, because that's what an interview is. You sell yourself, right? I wasn't sharing my wins and my accomplishments. I wasn't building the right relationships, and I wasn't leading with confidence. So I made a shift, right? I started leading myself before expecting anyone else to follow me, right? I stopped waiting to be recognized, and I started showing who I was. The promotion happened. Absolutely. I earned it. It just took a few applications and a few little tweaks and modifications, applying some feedback, and I got the work done, right? And the reason that happened is because I owned it. It wasn't because I was there a long time. It wasn't because my work was stellar. It's because I owned my future. I owned my path, right? The lesson became a pillar of how I coach my employees, how I coach my clients. You have to own your own outcomes. Nobody's going to do that for you. So look around in your life. What's working and what's not working? And now ask yourself, what did I allow that contributed to this? Once you own it, you can shift it. And that's where your power lives. So let's flip the script a little bit. Instead of saying, I can't because, I want you to try saying, I haven't prioritized. Think about it. Your friends call you up, they want to go out and have a drink. And you say, I can't because I have to babysit. I can't because I have my kids this week. Now, I haven't prioritized free time. I'm prioritizing my children. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just phrasing it, right? Instead of saying, they made me feel, try, I chose to give them that power. When you say it differently, it hits you differently, right? You're like, oh, wait a minute. I made that choice? That was a conscious choice? Yeah, it was. Trust me, it was. You know, this always happens to me. Oh, that victim mentality. How about what patterns am I repeating? What am I doing that I ended up here, right? So here's your challenge of the week, my friends. This week, I want you to keep a radical responsibility journal. I don't care if it's pen and paper. If it is, you can take a picture and send it to me. It's cool. 772-256-3860. If you have it in your phone or an audio voice memo, whatever, you can send me that. That's cool. But I want you to keep that journal, regardless of how it works for you. Each day, write down one thing that didn't go the way you planned for it to go. And instead of blaming other people or your circumstances, ask the questions. What did I choose? What could I change next time? And where am I giving my power away? And that last one's going to be a kicker. Trust me, I tell you. This isn't about being hard on yourself, my friends. It's about becoming empowered. There's a difference. So, the affirmation of the day. I take full ownership of my life. I am not waiting to be rescued. I am my own rescue mission. Before you go, my friends, a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. You don't need permission to rise. You don't need approval to heal. You don't need perfect conditions to take the first steps. You just need you. And guess what? You already have the power. It's been in you all along. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just buried under the noise. And now it's time to rise. So my friends, thank you so much for joining me today for part 5 of the Power of Your Experience. I'm looking forward to this workshop. I'm getting so excited. I have so much great content, so much great material for you. Next week, we're going to talk about the power of alignment. How to match your actions with your aspirations so you stop feeling stuck and you start feeling lit up, right? So until next time, my friends, you remember, you're absolutely amazing.
Love today's episode? Carry the message with you, literally. Check out our exclusive shirts and hoodies at DaniaTheCoach.com. Each piece is made to inspire confidence, strength, and purpose, just like this podcast. Stay cozy, stay bold, and rep your growth. See you next time.